Lesestunde Nummer 2. Willkommen zurück bei die Insel der düsteren Wolken. Und ich habe nachgeguckt. Es ist eine von den 4 Inseln oben. Und zwar die, wo dieser komische Generator drauf ist. Naja, egal. Brauchen wir nicht wirklich. Exzerpt 2. Kabukimono befand sich an der Küste. Bei Sonnenuntergang gab es kein Leuchten am Himmel, stattdessen rollten Donnerwolken darüber und kündeten so vom heraufziehenden Gewittersturm. Und so verschwand das letzte bisschen Licht auf dem Meer. Die Wolken wurden tiefer und tiefer, als hätte die Dunkelheit sie gezwungen, vor ihnen in die Knie zu gehen, so wie der Kabukimono vor dem Land auf der anderen Seite der Meerenge kniete. Niemand ging vorüber, niemand wusste, worauf er in diesem Moment still wartete. Nach einer Zeit, niemand weiß wie lange, stieß vom Himmel plötzlich ein Kreis schwarzer Wolken hernieder und inmitten ihres Wirbels war der Kabukimono einem Albtraum gleich. Umkreisten sie ihn. Achso, zu Beginn hatte er gar kein Gefühl. Lange nachdem er seine Augen aufriss, begriff er, diese Wolken hatten es von Beginn an auf ihn abgesehen. Aus der Ferne nahte ein Fischerboot heran. Seine Positionsleuchten schwankten im unablässigen Sturm und Regen. Zu dieser Zeit breitete sich eine dichte Nebelschicht aus, weshalb die Fischer an Bord die Straße nicht mehr sahen und andauernd schrien: „Es ist doch erst Dämmerung! Wie können wir jetzt nichts mehr sehen? Ist da draußen jemand, der uns den Weg zu weisen vermag?“ Nun schossen die schwarzen Wolken in das Boot hinein und verloren gemeinsam mit diesem die Orientierung. Einer wilden Bestie gleich krachte es in die Küste. Nur wenige Schritte entfernt stand Kabukimono untätig, als er den Kopf zum riesigen Schiffswrack wandte. Von dem, der dort zuerst geschrien hatte, war nichts geblieben als ein halber Arm, der nun mit einem dumpfen Knall vor die Füße des Kabukimono fiel. Er ging in die Hocke und betrachtete ihn, wobei er sich gegen den Drang sträubte, einen Bissen davon zu nehmen. Zuletzt unterließ er es jedoch, denn die wirbelnden schwarzen Wolken hatten schon all das, was noch auf dem Schiff verblieb, verschlungen. Der Kabukimono starrte darauf für eine lange, lange Zeit, bis er, wie aus einem Traum erwachte. Als er zu sich kam, hatte sich die schwarzen Wolken bereits verstreut. Von ihnen blieb keine Spur. Und das Boot vor ihm, war das nicht einfach vom Blitz getroffen worden? Wer konnte das schon wissen? Dem Kabukimono wurde es nicht klar. Was, wie seid ihr da Bock drauf, ey? Lecker, nam nam nam. Exzerpt 3. Katazuki eilte zur Tür und rief: „Meister, im Hochofen ist etwas passiert. Ich konnte keine Spur vom Meister Niwa finden. Und Meister Niyazaki suchte in der Ferne um Hilfe. Bis heute kam kein Brief von ihm zurück. Was sollen wir tun?“ Nikoshi Nagamasa drehte sich langsam um, mit der Miene wie bei einer Beerdigung und einer besonderen Schwere in der Stimme. Sagte er Katsuragi: „Ich möchte so etwas nicht sagen, aber Meister Miyazaki wird vielleicht nicht zurückkehren.“ Katsuragis Blick ging an Nagasamas breiten und festen Schultern vorbei, zu dem Fenster heraus. Über dem Meer rollten schwarze Wolken herum. Die bedrückende Dunkelheit war furchteinflößend. Die pechschwarze Nacht wurde zu einem einzigen Wetter und geriet danach in die Form von Yokai anzunehmen und ganz Tatarasuna zu verschlingen. Es sind schon über ein Dutzend Menschen gestorben. Deshalb. Wie als hätte er sich von einem schweren Schlag erholt, erinnerte sich Katsuragi plötzlich. Deshalb mussten sie in der Ferne um Hilfe suchen. Miyazaki war der Erste mit dem Schiff war als erster mit dem Schiff aufgebrochen. Als er ging, hatte sich diese Form von Wolken gerade erst gebildet. Dafür von Tatarasuna nach Inazuma zu reisen, um dort um Hilfe zu bitten, war in normalen Zeiten keine große Schwierigkeit. Doch Miyazaki war nach langer Zeit immer noch nicht zurück. Der zweite, der dritte, der vierte. Auch der Kabuki Mono hatte die Insel mit dem letzten Boot verlassen. Das Wetter, bei dem er aufbrach, schlecht und sein Schicksal ungewiss. Katsuragi holte ihn zurück und behandelte ihn, als sei er sein eigenes Fleisch und Blut. Er wollte ihn nur ungern gehen lassen, doch so dringlich wie die Lage in Tatarasuna war, wäre es das Opfer auch noch vieler Leben wert, wenn damit nur der Segen der Hauptstadt erreicht werden würde. Niwa verschwand und niemand wusste, wohin er gegangen war. Nach einer Weile führte Nagamasa erneut eine Truppe in die Berge, um alles vom Hochofen ausgehende abzusuchen, was jedoch nicht von Erfolg gekrönt war. Man nahm an, Niwa sei vielleicht einem Unglück zu Opfer gefallen. Doch nach kurzem gab es auch die Annahme, er könnte die Last dieses seltsamen Geschehens nicht mehr ertragen haben und habe sich abgesetzt, um einer Strafe zu entgehen. Die Menschen wurden misstrauisch und Nagamasa kämpfte gegen Unzufriedenheit und Zorn an. Sein Gesicht war kaum noch von den schwarzen Wolken in der Ferne zu unterscheiden. Plötzlich huschte eine Gestalt herbei. Nagamasa bemerkte ihn, zog das Schwert an seiner Hüfte und durchschnitt mit dessen Spitze den Schleier des soeben Erschienenen. Die Gestalt schwankte wie eine Marionette und tauchte hinter Nagamasa auf und lachte unheimlich. Wonach sucht der Meister? Niwa etwa? Nagamasa sprach erzürnt. Wage es nicht, Meister Niwa so zu nennen. Er schlug erneut zu und die Gestalt löste sich im Nebel auf, bevor sie sich in einem Wimpernschlag in der Ferne wieder vereinte und dort eine monströse Gestalt annahm. Was du es, der die Männer getötet hat? Schrie Nagamasa jetzt zu ihm und wollte sich auf ihn werfen. Doch Katsuragi hielt ihn mit aller Kraft zurück. Nun erst erkannte Nagamasa, dass er nur einen Schritt davon entfernt war, in den Ofen zu stürzen. Der Rest scheint noch nicht fertig geschrieben zu sein. Eine steht jedoch fest. Dies ist eine auf Basis von Informationen aus der eben gelesenen Abhandlung geschriebene Geschichte voller Fantasie und Vorstellungskraft. Toll, hätten wir gar nicht lesen müssen.
Oh, and please read my essay draft as well.
Ja. 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 Also ihr, der lesen will, ne, haltet euch einfach das Video an, weil das lese ich jetzt nicht nochmal. Da wird hier noch die ganze Folge drauf gehen. Also es hört sich schon irgendwie an nach der Shogun, ne? Dass jetzt Shogun Raiden war, also die Puppe. Oder ob es der andere Typ war, keine Ahnung. Der Rest scheint noch nicht fertig geschrieben zu sein. Eines steht fest, in diese Abhandlung wurde viel Sorgfalt investiert. Okay, also die Abhandlung hier ist die coolere, aber die andere, die ist halt eben die Geschichte, also erzählerische.
Sawada was encouraging me to follow his more creative approach, but I think essays should be grounded in facts. I don't think explaining everything away with mysterious forces will cut it.
Ja, da hat er schon recht. Also, was Aquabab hier sagt, ist schon richtig. Eine Abhandlung, denke ich mal, sollte schon auf Fakten beruhen. Und das, was der andere Typ gemacht hat, dessen Namen ich gerade nicht im Kopf habe, hier der Typ mit der, hier der Schwarz-Weiß-Typ, ne? Ist halt eben eher so ein Fantasy-Roman, der auf eventuell wahren Gegebenheiten basiert.
Oh, how about if I plug the holes in Sawada's narrative with political intrigue? Like, I could put a turf war between rival factions at the center of the whole series of events.
Eine coole Geschichte mit Politik wieder vermischen.
Wait, you're allowed to just make stuff up? Pretty sure you've gone from essay to guessay there.
Ja, richtig. In der Tat ähnelte es zu sehr einem Roman. Das hört sich nicht wirklich wie eine Abhandlung an.
Akaba, look. Your teacher has researched this extensively. I've reached out to everyone I could think of. Whatever information we have now is all that there is to know. This is as much detail as you're ever going to get.
Du musst echt mehr rausgehen. Die Bibliothek tut dir nicht gut.
Besides, if there really was a political power struggle going on at anything like the level you seem to be suggesting, what hope would we ever have of finding out the truth?
Good point. Okay, back to the drawing board, I guess. Give me some time. I need to find a new angle on this.
Na dann, wir wollen nicht weiter
We have
stören.
some other stuff to do, so we'll have to say goodbye for now. Good luck with your essay.
All right, thank you. If you find out any more info about all this, please do let me know. Thanks so much.
Das ist irgendwie total useless, ne?
Hey, so that thing they were talking about, it has to do with the balladeer, doesn't it?
Ja, bestimmt.
Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confidential, isn't it?
Ja, da hast du recht,
If you
Paimon.
ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in...
Oh. Was ist los, Paimon?
Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by, over there. It looked like...
Der läuft ja einfach so
it
rum.
can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see.
Alter, der wandert hier einfach so rum, der Wanderer. Versteht ihr jetzt, woher der Name kommt? Ja? Müssen schön auf dem Goldpfad bleiben. Immer schön auf dem Goldpfad bleiben. Gott, hier war ein doppelter. Ein doppelter. Gott, wo gehe ich lang? Oder ist eine für Paimon? Wer weiß. Nein, wir retten dich! Da ist er ja.
Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida, bad news. We just saw the balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or... Ah, it's him!
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey, what are you doing in the sanctuary of Surastana? Aren't you supposed to be locked up?
Vielleicht hat sie ja die Puppe neu geschrieben.
I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me to explain.
Ja, bitteschön.
It was my idea to set the balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me.
Was, er wird für mich in der Irminsul einige Untersuchungen anstellen.
A deal? Huh. You sure you trust this guy?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumero would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Wir wurden von einem komischen Kollegen hier einfach ja, eingeschläfert.
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down?
Das ist halt echt so, ne? Kommt mal alle ein bisschen runter.
But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
Hätte er überhaupt keine Chance gegen ihn.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us!
As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time.
Im Unterschied, dass alle aus einer einfach nur, ja, verlogene Schweine sind? Obwohl, er kommt ja aus Inazuma, das ist vielleicht noch eine andere Sache.
The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond.
Das stimmt schon. Ein bisschen mehr über die Herangehensweise der komischen Fatui zu erfahren, ist schon verkehrt.
Wait a second. Farmer? You mean he's not a harbinger anymore?
I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Oh, Sakumo, ist da so ein Ausgestoßener geworden, doof.
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers.
Ein toller Laden.
So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be.
Oh, das ist aber blöd. Wie bedauerlich. Oh.
Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? And they're your friends, so I guess you'll be siding with them.
Was verständlich ist, ja.
Yeah, obviously! Nahida, don't listen to him!
Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Ja, was
Good.
haben die genau
Go
abgemacht?
now, and keep in touch.
Ich würde ja gerne auch in diesem Plan eingeweiht sein. Das nervt mich, wenn ich nicht weiß, was hier für Pläne geschmiedet wurden.
Nahida, are you serious about this?
Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit.
Cool. Irgendein Deal, der mit mir in Verbindung steht.
Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an update on that?
Mm-hmm. You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point.
Sind wahrscheinlich alle bei denen.
It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect.
Ah ja, okay, das ist schon nützlich.
The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long, even for me.
Alles. Überleg mal, so viele Informationen über jeden Einzelnen, der irgendwie auf Teyvat lebt.
So I asked the
Jetzt was
Balladeer
vor.
to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. He's more familiar with this kind of information and should be able to find it more quickly.
Ja, aber was ist, wenn er dich versucht zu hintergehen? Okay, da hat es wahrscheinlich auch drüber gedacht.
Exactly! Or what if... Paimon just doesn't trust him? He's turn into him.
Ah,
I understand. But sometimes, everything is dictated by which side you're on.
richtig. Man hat ja wohl eher schlecht eine andere Wahl, ne? Wo will er hin? Nach Inazuma? Hier nach. Ist das Naja, wo er gejagt wird? Oder ausgestoßen wurde?
How things will go in the future depends on what information he brings back. And Traveler, I know what your heart desires most of all.
Echt? Ein Herzenswunsch? Alle Charaktere auf C6? Für 1 Euro? Okay.
Our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns.
Nö, eigentlich nicht. Also mittlerweile hier seit, ich sag mal so, seit Mitte Mondstadt ungefähr, oder schon Anfang Mondstadt, ist die Alte eigentlich komplett egal gewesen, ne? Das Ziel ist eher hier die Reise durch Teyvat. Was mit der ist, mein Gott, das wird schon irgendwann rauskommen, aber hier, das ist interessant.
As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility to be on guard against the Balladeer. But as someone who counts you as a friend, I want to do something for you. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you the answers you've been longing to find, then it's worth it.
Okay, Naida, dankeschön.
It's my pleasure, really. You're Sumeru's hero. You've more than earned it.
Das heißt, wir gehen jetzt zu Irminsul, ja?
Paimon's still worried about this idea. Is there anything we can do to help?
I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. Seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out the task I assigned. Even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, it would put my mind at ease. Of course, I'll be there to help guide you through Irminsul from the outside.
Na gut, verstehe.
Great.
Kriegen wir irgendwie hin.
Thank you.
Wenn sie nicht mir vertrauen kann, dem dann, ne? Das ist so.
Prepare yourselves. I'm going to transport you into Irminsul.
Okay, dann auf geht's.
Wow. It's
Weggebeamt.
pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's at peace now.
Definitiv friedlicher geworden, ja. Oh Gott, oh, wer stand denn da jetzt auf einmal? Ohne Worte.
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Ja, und ich werde dich für Naida überwachen, Typen.
Shut your beak, jailbird. No way a prisoner gets to be so smug.
Also ich weiß ja immer noch nicht, ob man ihm sowas anvertrauen kann. Weil Irminsul ist ja scheinbar die Quelle allen Wissens. Ja, so überhaupt hier. Oh, Datenschutz, der ganz gering geschrieben wird. Ganz klein geschrieben wird, oder eigentlich gar nicht existiert. Jetzt setzt man einen ehemaligen von mir aus, der Elf der Fatui hier hin. Der hat doch damit dann mir einen absolut hohen Stellenwert. Das Wissen, was der jetzt hier aufnehmen könnte. Also, damit hat er ja doch schon wieder ein extremes Nutzen für die Fatui.
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards. But right now, I'm on temporary release. So maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Echt? Deine Freizeit? Ja, das ist ja schön.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru.
Wir betreten den Baum.
Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of torrents of information. You must put aside your differences and be extremely careful as you navigate your way through. I know there are many grievances between you, on both sides, but it is essential that you remain calm after entry. This is as much for your own safety as anything else.
Alles klar.
Fine. Let's call it truce. But only until this mission's over.
Let's cut each other a little slack, shall we? We are going to be traveling together after all. Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path. All you have to do is keep your pretty eyes open and try not to fall behind.
Okay. Mit dem ist es nicht so.
You sure are confident. Paimon will give you that. You make it sound like you're even more experienced at adventuring than us.
Da hat's recht.
If there are no further objections, I suggest we get going. Or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Nö, alles gut. Los.
Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
Leg einfach los.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connection procedure.
Repeat. Was ist das
Is
jetzt?
this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him.
Und schon ist er weg. Okay, ich muss nicht hinterherlaufen, ich werde direkt reingesetzt.
So this is the inside of Irminsul.
Ja, doch schon irgendwie anders, als ich mir einen Baum von innen vorgestellt habe. Das stimmt.
Ooh, Paimon's never seen anything like this. And it feels like a sacred place.
Sieht strange aus.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he says?
Oh, Paimon, beruhig dich jetzt
Lesser
mal.
Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Irminsul.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Die Waldfee, ey.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here. What would happen?
Paimon, manche Fragen sollte man nicht stellen.
What are you smirking at?
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option is to stick close to me.
Darf man nicht mal da rausgehen? Auch nicht hingehen. Oh.
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
Warum nicht? Wir sind jetzt auf einem anderen Weg. Sieht aus, als wären wir auf einem anderen Weg gelandet. Da holt er sich.
It looks the same in every direction.
So, das ist wirklich ungewöhnlich, aber Sökmon scheint sich besser dran gewöhnt zu haben als gedacht.
No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little?
Lustig.
We're here.
What a huge tree!
Ja, da hast du schon recht. Das ist das Zentrum von Irminsul. Darin befinden sich alle Informationen dieser Welt.
Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Good, you made it. Are you ready?
Ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents. establishing waypoint.
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
Außerdem scheint er sich in keiner Weise hiergegen zu sträuben. Anscheinend versteht er sich auf den Einsatz an vorderster Front. Hat er etwa bei den Fatui eine ähnliche Rolle? Ich muss da an die Geschichten denken, die Aquaba und Sawaba erzählt haben. Er ist eine wirklich sonderbare
The
Person.
rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to share it with us.
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk?
Aida? Ist das ein Bewusstseinsgespräch, ein Privatgespräch?
Yes. I've also invited Paimon to join.
Hm.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
Jetzt wird's wahnsinnig. Viel für ihren kleinen Kopf. Möchtest wohl nicht, dass wir Sacramouche unterbrechen, hä?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Ah, von mir aus.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great!
Wo schon irgendwie strange ist, wenn man einfach so irgendeinen anderen in seinen Kopf reinlassen kann, ne?
So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
Stimmt, und derartige Aufträge zu erledigen scheint ihm auch sehr zu liegen.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers.
Besteht da ein Zusammenhang mit seiner Vergangenheit, mit diesem sogenannten Verrat und den Dingen, die in Inazuma passiert sind?
Well done. Smart and attentive as always.
Wir haben vorher noch einen Roman gelesen. In Wirklichkeit ist es so, dass ich in dem Augenblick, als Hephaestia in Paradies Duyai berührt habe, für eine kurze Zeit Dinge gesehen habe. Wir berichten mal alles, was wir da gesehen haben.
So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the Balladeer into the person he is today.
Ach, schon Scheiß losgezogen.
Huh. Paimon thought nothing could get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry just like anyone else.
Everyone has a history, Paimon. Even if you're a puppet created by the Electro Archon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
Ich weiß darüber Bescheid.
If you mean the mysterious events, the Kabuki Mono and so on, yes. I know.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Dann erzähl mir der Nahida mal von diesen beiden Abhandlungen.
How interesting. Those two managed to deduce quite a lot through guesswork alone.
So the Gese got it right?
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Wir wissen ja wer, ne?
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're talking to each other?
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation.
Ja, wir haben doch nicht die Pflicht, dich da einzubeziehen, oder?
Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So, have you you found anything yet?
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Aber Naida hat doch gemeint, es gäbe Aufzeichnungen zu der alten Drulla.
Wait, how did you know about that? Didn't Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you.
Auch wenn diese Art von Gespräch nicht gerade angenehm ist seine Einstellung doch besser, als ich erwartet hatte.
Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage.
Sorry, bin ich ans Mikro gestoßen.
Huh? Wait.
Was denn?
This light. It looks similar to those saplings. What could it be?
Anonymous data.
Okay.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with us.
Shh. Just wait.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Niwa. Ist das nicht der Name des Verwalters von Tatara Suna? Sollte das so sein, dann gehört er zur Ishin-Schule, oder?
Whoa!
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Der Typ kommt mir mega bekannt vor.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique.
Das hat jemandem gar nicht gefallen, glaube ich.
Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging industry of Inazuma, and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate, and I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate.
Ja, richtig, ne? Stetig und bergab.
And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Yeah.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
Okay.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
Läuft hier jetzt gerade, also Rotak verwirrt.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Ja, damit tut besser, ne?
Drop the act. We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatarasuna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for.
Keine blutigen Szenen
I
wieder.
thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all.
Ja, das war ja wieder klar, ne? Nebenbei, wenn die Szene hier beendet ist, dann gehen wir in die neue Folge. Nur für euch so zur Info.
And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you... If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Ja, okay, wir haben ja dann ein paar tausend Jahre später scheinbar abgeschaltet, ne?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Huh?
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you...
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment.
Das glaube ich schon sogar.
If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui? Who? What do you want?
Du Scheiße. Das heißt, der El Doktore kann sogar noch andere Aussehen annehmen. Oh. Schrecklich. Hoffentlich hat er alle seine Kopien gelöscht, ne?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet.
Der Wanderer geworden?
Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
Scheiße, das kann doch ganz schön verwirrend werden, ne?
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us.
Ja, das Blut fehlt immer noch.
He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
What a beautiful way to see the world. It almost makes me feel a little guilty. Then out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself. Think of me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa? Already dead. What a pity.
Der ist so ein komischer Illusionstyp, ist ja echt heftig.
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was.
Einen Riss zu schaffen. Ui.
I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Okay.